Mahalo and happy holidays. So, across high schools all over the US, students are beginning to pick their classes for their next subsequent grade level. And I constantly hear the conversations that they're having, like, how much math does this class have in it? Or, man, who's teaching it? Because if they're going to insert math, then, I don't want to have anything to do with that class. And often I see some, not all, but some students avoiding a class because it has so much perceived math in it. And it saddens me because math in itself, once you toil with it, can be a superpower. Math gives you that ability to sit in a corner and use abstract symbols and to decide whether something is possible or not. And you can do all that without even experiencing the phenomenon firsthand in reality. And so many times that's what exactly happened. We didn't know that they were black holes, but someone did the math and realized, hey, they are black holes. And it would be nice to see one, and then we saw one, and there is a black hole. But the math came first. And then there are other examples, the Higgs boson and all that stuff. We realize that there are things that are possible, and not all of it came to fruition, maybe yet, but a lot of the stuff was actually what was happening in reality. We just had to build the instruments to figure out how to measure it and how to detect it. So that's a superpower in itself. And when you are that person that has the wheel of math in your repertoire of ability, you're going to be that it factor in the company, organization, or wherever you are when you become an independent adult. So students need to understand that math is one of those things that gives you that edge, that superpower. Okay, otherwise everyone else is using languages, and it's not that you can't use traditional languages as far as English and whatever language you may speak to describe some of these things. You can, but math has a relational rules and laws that are in place so that it can tell a person, can you go there or you can't go there. Don't even go there. That can't happen, right? Language doesn't have those constraints. You could say unicorns exist all day, and it allows me to say, hey, unicorns exist, because there's no constraints on the English language for me to say the words unicorns exist. In math, there are constraints in that language that will tell you unicorns most likely do not exist. And I'm not talking about putting a horn on a goat. I'm talking about a real life pretty unicorn. I'm really sad about that because I always wanted to have a unicorn. Point is, math should never be extracted as a separate subject from science. Math should be the dominant language in every science class, whether it's biology, physics, or chemistry. And all that is required of an educator is to make it as attainable as possible. If a student does not understand it, break it down. If the student still doesn't understand it, break it down, go back to 2 + 2 = 4 if you have to. But math has to be the primary language in every science class. So a student no longer has those conversations with their peers. Oh, this one has more science. This one has more math, and oh my gosh, I'm going to avoid at all costs. I'm going to take marine biology. Marine biology, of all things, has lots of math in it, but they're not intimidated by that. They're intimidated by the word physics, chemistry, and the fact that they have to do algebra in both of those situations, right? So definitely math should never be separated, and the story of science should never be, the students should always be reminded that the story of science is one grand theme, one grand story, and however you enter it is coming from that perspective. and there is no avoiding math.